I make her like, I make you
Look at these stars over there, trying to worry about their jewels they're going to wear today.
Can we just like snap it? Okay, there you go. Get up
Yeah.
there.
All right, guys, we're going to get started because we're live. We've got people waiting. It's so exciting. All right, so last week we talked about a winner's mindset, and we went through a bunch of points that just really kind of helped you understand, just the mindset of what we should be thinking every single day. And I think that it's such a tough business, especially right now, to try to feel like you're winning. A lot of times we feel like we're losing. So I think keeping our minds fresh and filled with positive energy is always good. So last week we kind of ended on, what would hard work look like? What's the definition of hard work? And I think for everybody, it's a little bit different. And so my biggest thing was, why do some people rise to the top and others just struggle? What's the difference? What makes this person special and this person, just can't get it going for whatever reason. So our thing is, in the next, let's say 2 years of your career, whether you're a new agent or a seasoned agent, I think you could put in the hard work to get it going. If you're maybe a 30 deal a year producer and you're like, I just want to get to 60. Well, there's probably things we can implement in our mindset, in our daily business, in our schedule, in our routine to get us there. So hopefully you brought pen and paper. And for those of you that are online, hopefully you're writing this down. But so we're going to talk about what the hard work I believe in the next 18 months would be and kind of your mindset of that. So on the good and bad days, number one, the results you get are because of the actions you take. So what is our mindset? What are the actions that we're taking every single day to get the results that we want? I mean, if we don't know what we want, we're not going to be able to schedule anything to get there, right? So number two, every day, take a few minutes to look at the big picture of what you really want to accomplish. So that overarching goal. I remember I used to sit in bed and kind of visualize, I'm a 100 deal a year producer. I'm a 100 deal a year producer. And I used to literally try to feel in my bones what that would feel like. In fact, I remember there was a guy in the Mike Ferry organization, and he let me have his analyzer, and his analyzer showed every month that he was making about $80,000 to $100,000 a month. And when I tell you, I was so blown away by that $100,000 a month marker. I mean, I was maybe at 10 or 15 at the time. It was so inspiring to have that in front of me. So visualization is key, and then the belief. So feeling it in your soul that you can accomplish it and that you've already accomplished it. So what does it feel like to be that 50 deal a year, 100 deal, 1,000 deal a year? I mean, maybe you're a team leader and you want to sell 1,000 units. Awesome. What does that feel like to you? So number three, also, I think it's really important to see ourselves as a self-employed person, right? So be in this business, I think we get in and we go, well, I'm an entrepreneur. I could do what I want every single day. And like we talked about last week, I think that's the problem with the industry, is that we can do whatever we want every single day. And we're the worst at holding ourselves accountable in this business. So seeing ourselves as self-employed every single day and starting at zero. I think number four, having a love affair with the field of selling. So knowing in my gut that I'm now a salesperson, what am I doing every day to grow? Am I studying other great salespeople? Am I learning sales language every single day? Am I reading books about sales? I mean, you have to be in love with the industry that you're in. And I think a lot of times in real estate, it's more, well, I love people and I love houses and I want to just do my job and help everyone. But it is a sales business and you're in a sales environment. So we do have to fall in love with that idea. All right. So number five, I wrote down, in life and in business, it's never easy and never fair, right? So I don't think this is an easy business and it's not a fair business, right? So you look at other people and you're like, oh, it's not fair. How come they're doing that and I'm not? And it's also, I think, the hardest business to start. But once you get it going, there's all these little mini breakthroughs and then you kind of have momentum. So later on today, we're actually going to be talking to 3 brand new agents that all have been in the business, I think one under a year and one 3 months. 3 months. and they're crushing it. So for all of you out there that say this market is just too hard and nothing's happening, you're going to see two different ways that these agents are getting their business started. One by more cold calling, the other one's by social media, which is kind of fun. So we're going to be talking to them later today, which I'm so excited. Okay, number 6. We can only get to the top by focusing on our strengths. So what are your strengths, right? And I wrote down, this is years ago. What are mine? Mine are determination. I'm always learning. I'm always reading. I'm always going to events. I'm always taking notes. And I'm always taking action before I'm ready. So that's a big one, right? The action. I know a lot of people will look at the scripts and they'll get ready to get going to never begin. And it's like, you just have to believe that, I just have to get in there and start talking to people or start going on listing presentations and just start doing something, and taking the action before you're ready is key, because I never was ready. I'm not ready today, right? We're always going, oh, is it going to be good enough? Are people going to like what I have to say? But you just have to get ready and do it, right? And hope for the best. Number 7, and this is really, really important, take away the possibility of failing, right? So burn the boats. There's just no way you can fail. So when we moved here to North Carolina 12 years ago, there was no going back. It was do or die. We weren't going to go back to Michigan for whatever. I even said, I will be a Walmart greeter. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if real estate doesn't work, I am not going back. Whatever it takes, I'm going to make this work, this transition, because I want to live where the sun hits my face almost every day. Okay, number 8, develop the ability to bounce back from your defeats. And I think that's really important, because you're going to have defeats, and it's going to be sometimes daily and sometimes weekly. So you can't be disappointed when a defeat happens. You almost have to say to yourself, defeat is inevitable. It's going to happen. I'm going to expect it. Therefore, when it happens, I'm not going to be so upset because I was defeated and I didn't get the listing, or the buyer picked another agent, or, I failed to negotiate contracts appropriately at some point and I just didn't do a great job. That's okay. There's the next day. So I would always say, I'm going to have a lot of defeat, but I expect it. So I feel better about myself when it happens. All right. So number 9, spending time with the right people. I think that is probably one of the most important things. If I look back in 21 years, I grew based on the people that I was around. And so I say this all the time. The first 7 years of my career, I was with great, awesome people, but the top person in my office sold about 35 or 40 homes. And then I became what I saw, right? And that's what they did. And I copied that. And that's kind of the level I got to. And then when I exposed myself to all these other big thinking people that were talking about owning yachts and rental properties and passive income and all of this different stuff, it was like, wow, all these people are just like us. Why are they having so much more success? Well, it was their mindset, and they worked on it every single day. And I think that's what's so special about our group, is that we're surrounding ourselves with these abundant, I see Tana shaking her head. I see you. We're all have this kind of abundance mindset. And so you have to kind of protect that little circle that you have. And if there's people in your life that drain you, those are the people to run away from, because we all have them, whether they're in our friends group, our family group. I loved moving away, because it's like you get away from some of the family dramas that you have, right? You can pick your friends, can't pick your family. Love them all. This is a good one. Number 10, become more teachable and coachable. You don't know it all. So why aren't you carving out time to learn more, right? I think some of us, people look at me and they go, oh, you just know so much and you're just so smart. And I go, I don't feel that way. I honestly don't. I wake up in the morning going, what else can I learn today? There's got to be something else. I'm going to 3 more events I just signed up for, which Kevin was like, another event, but that's where I go to learn. So if I remain teachable and coachable, then I'm constantly in a growth pattern. And I see this every day. I see agents in our organization, they just think they know everything, and you never see them in classes. You never see them going to events. You never see them doing anything. And, they may be growing, but think about how much more they could be growing and how much faster they could be scaling. Because, time runs out sometimes. We just get older and time just passes. So I feel like I want to learn as much as I can faster, and then I'll become a better agent. Let's see. Oh, this is a great one. Be prepared for the next real estate cycle, the next bad one. Because I mean, how many of us in the room have been in the industry more than 20 years? I know, Lisa, you have, Marianne-ish, 15. I mean, we remember the bad cycles. And if you look at the history of real estate, it's cycles, right? It's cyclical. It goes up, it goes down. And right now we're in a really good upward cycle. But a lot of you have come into this business when it was good, and you don't even remember or know how to figure out a bad market. So a lot of times, and our coach would say this to us all the time, you may not be that good. The market could just be that good, right? And so think about that for a minute. All the success you're having could be that just everything's selling. So if you're not preparing for the bad market when, prices are coming down, sellers are miserable, buyers can't, negotiate a good deal to save their life, how do you become a better salesperson in that terrible time? We need to prepare now for when winter is coming. And so if we're not preparing in the good times, we're going to be lost in the bad times. And we know in 2008 and 2012, we lost 30% of our realtor base. 30 to 40% of people did not last through that market. So don't expect that this is going to be like this forever. Let's learn to navigate this awesome, amazing market. And I know even though you guys are frustrated, I was saying last week, my agents are frustrated because they're writing a lot of offers and they're like, oh, are we ever going to get one to, land? But back in 08 through 12, and I know you all remember, we would show 60, 70, 100 properties, and our buyers would never write an offer because they were still looking for the better deal. And when they did write an offer on a $4,000 property, they wrote it for $300 and it didn't get accepted. And they were mad at the seller. And so it was like so frustrating at that time to be spinning your wheels and driving all around God's green earth from Wake Forest to Fuquay. And I hated life then, and I just thought, well, this is my reality. And today you may complain about not getting your buyer's deals accepted, but they don't have that much to look at. So it's just a different problem. So I think we just face reality. We see exactly what's in front of us, and we just are happy that we're still in business, right? So be prepared for the next down cycle. I love this point too. A person that works 8 hours a day is making a living. The person that works 12 hours a day is making a fortune. And so think about that, right? If you just add a couple more hours to your business, and remember, this is for the first 18 months to 2 years of your career. This is, how do I dive in deep? How do I keep myself mentally tough to get through the ups, the downs, the sideways? If you're working 8, work 12. I mean, this is the time where you put in the work and you get the reward. And so let's see here. Oh, I love this one too. Becoming an eternal optimist, right? This is hard, but it's so important. And I know that my family, we were always so afraid to do things. I remember my Aunt Josie, my cousin wanted to move out of Michigan because he had a girlfriend that moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. And this was, 15 years ago. And he was so in love with this woman. And she kept saying, well, he has a good job. And what if he goes and what if he fails? And I said, but what if he goes and what if he succeeds? Like in my mind, I was a kid still thinking to myself, well, but what if he does well? And so, and I remember when we were leaving, everyone told us, but you guys are making $250,000 a year. $250,000 for 29-year-olds at the time. That is a lot of money. So in our world, our families thought we had lost our minds and we were going to leave this amazing job to go find sunshine. Like, what were we smoking? And so, but in my mind, failure wasn't an option. We were going to live the life we wanted. It wasn't a money-driven decision. It was, this is what we want for our lives. Money will follow if we do a really good job. So I think that you have to be an internal optimist, and you have to, sometimes it's hard, right? We kind of want to look at the negative, but how do we spin that to a positive every single time? Because it's kind of, I don't know, it's depressing to constantly always look at the bad. So I know sometimes, people might call you Captain Sunshine or, okay, Mrs. Sunshine, but that is how I like to look at life. And knowing that there's going to be hard things, I might just take the hard and say, how can I spin this to a positive? What does this mean? What can we learn from it? So that was big for me around the coaching that we had. Developing a reputation to your clients for speed and efficiency. So answer your phones. I mean, that's all that people care. We went on a listing appointment and the guy literally said, I said, what's the most important thing to you when working with an agent? He said, please answer your phone. I said, oh, that is such a pet peeve of mine, not getting back to people in a good enough time. So I know Kevin can attest to this. My phone is attached to my hip, especially during real estate transactions, and to the, unfortunately detriment to my family life, right? It was like, we were eating, the phone is ringing. I got to take this. It's for work, because it was so important that these people felt important and I answered their calls. So I think in a day where text messages and emails and people are a little shyer and we're on all these social media sites, you really have to think about your client and how do they want to be communicated. And even if they're a younger millennial, pick up the phone, call these people, talk about the problem, because there's nothing you can fix by text or email that is going to resonate more than a human conversation. So I truly believe in that. Making great service your obsession and going above and beyond for clients, and not only clients, even the people in your world, right? People on your team, people in your family, just trying to go above and beyond and take the extra step really goes a long way. So sometimes when we go on really good listing appointments that are a higher luxury listing, we may go above and beyond and send something really nice to the property the day after, right? That is something that not a lot of people do. So what does that make us? It makes us stand out. So, and then all of a sudden we've got a competitive edge. So how do we stand out to people today? We go above and beyond. So I'm not saying send them on a cruise, but sending them flowers or just something different will be great. And then let's see here. Oh, being decisive. So learning to be decisive. I think a lot of times, depending on your personality style, we might have a lot of analyticals on the call, and they get ready to get going to begin to do more research, and then one day they might take action. And that's just a thing. I don't know how that feels in your world, because that is not me. I take action first and figure out the details later. And so we call this the hot mess express career, right? We're always feeling like we're a hot mess express, and that's okay because you're figuring it out. But the reality is you have to be decisive. You can't overthink every situation to try to be correct. You're going to make mistakes. And so if you're okay with this might be a shit show, we might go this way and it just may not work. That's okay. I mean, we moved brokerages and we thought this moving to brokerages was going to fix our problems, and it was fine. It didn't fix our problems, and therefore you could call it a mistake, but it really, to me, was a learning experience. Because people will say, were you upset that you didn't go from RE/MAX to EXP and you went to Keller? And no, it was 18 months that I learned. I saw the culture of a different organization. I saw the leadership. I met a lot of great people, built relationships. My customers didn't, care. And so it was just another learning experience. So it cost us a little bit of money, but we still were making money in the interim. Working on developing discipline. I think that's really important if you're going to boost your business in the next 2 years. Again, so how are we disciplined? Do we have a schedule? Do we wake up in the morning and feed the kids or maybe wake up, meditate, journal, feed the kids, get them to daycare, get to the office at a certain time? Again, I look at if my sellers and buyers were watching me every single day with a video camera, would they be proud of the person they hired, or would they be mortified? And I think a lot of times they would be mortified. If they hire me today, they're going to be mortified. But back in the day, they would be excited because I got up, I got to the office, 7:30, nobody was there except me and Kelly Boyette at RE/MAX, and Kevin strolled in around 8:30. No, I'm just kidding. You weren't there at 7:30.
Early on, I was there at 7.
Oh, he was there at 7. Oh, he was there at 7, people. He was there at 7, he said. No, but he was. And it's just because, again, we burned the boats. We had to do something. So you don't have to be that crazy about it. But what is your daily schedule? This is your business. You're opening up a bakery or a restaurant. Would you open a restaurant and then not show up till 10 o'clock? Never, never. You would be the first one in the door. And you would be there because you spent $250,000 to open the restaurant. So imagine if opening up a real estate brokerage but getting your real estate license cost you $12,000. First of all, we wouldn't have anybody entering the business because it's a lot of money, but we would have really successful, high level, sales addicted script masters because they'd have to figure out how to make this work. And if it was $50,000 entry just to open up a real estate business, we should have that in our business, right? We should have people have more skin in the game. And so my job was to have skin in the game, self-imposed, $1,000 if I didn't show up on my calls. This would happen if I didn't do this. So I had to have the discipline and the structures to get to where I needed to go because I am literally squirrel. That's me, so I could get very sidetracked very easily. So knowing that about me, that is a flaw, I had to really get really focused. So being disciplined, if you're going to be an entrepreneur in the business, is huge. Being 100% honest with the people that you're talking to. So not being attached to the outcome. And this was more true for me in a down market when I knew that the seller may have wanted $450, the house was worth $375. Am I about to buy this listing and beat them up on the price week after week after week? I could do that. That's a strategy. It's not fair for the seller, and it's really awful for me. And then in our market now, do I truly overprice a property, leave no more room, which I think is a detriment right now? If I know the property's worth $400 and I price it at $5, thinking that everything's going to go 10 to 20% over, I haven't left room for the buying public to come in and drive up the price. So they might look at it and go, I can't fight for this property. It's already at its peak and you're going to miss out. So there's strategies in every market, but you have to tell the sellers the truth, even if it hurts, because you're the professional. So I never want a doctor telling me I have asthma when I have cancer. Like you don't want that. You want the truth. And then you go, what is our action plan to tackle this? So be very truthful with people. Don't be attached to the outcome. And then the last thing we'll talk about is removing your emotions and dramas. Like you can't be the most dramatic person in the role. Like you have to be calm, right? That doesn't mean you can't hang up the phone and curse and go, oh my God, how are we going to fix this? I think you said that last week. You have to be the calming force in the transaction. So if you're highly emotional with the seller or with the buyer, they're going to lose value in you because they need to be led. And it really is an emotional experience. We just went through it back in December, and it's like you forget every single time how much you want to strangle the seller or the buyer, or the inspector or the appraiser or whatever. So we have to be that calming force. Now, so any questions on that or ahas or anything you guys want to share? Anything?
I think the defeat thing is huge.
The defeat thing?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, if you listen to any pro athlete, and I even used to do this with coaching the kids, losing is where you get to really learn the biggest lesson.
Mm-hmm.
We can all go through the market. If we won every offer, right, then everything's great. However, you're not learning anything. You learn way more by that defeat.
Mm-hmm.
You learn what you did wrong, what you need to do next time. Every listing we lost, every pissed off seller.
Everything.
Right.
Every failed, everything.
It allows you to change. It shows you the misses in your business.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's actually, you should be thankful.
It gives you an MBA.
Gives you an
Yes.
Exactly.
It really does.
That's exactly
It
what
does.
it does.
He was talking about defeat and how it's so important. I have one little story. It's a proud mom story, so I'm just going to say it. But my son was in a private school, and everybody made the team, right? So everybody made the basketball team, and there were 12 kids. So everybody got a trophy mentality. And so he just never had defeat in his life. He got what he wanted. And so he got to high school in a very competitive coaching environment. And his 9th grade year, public high school. Yep. And so he tried out for the basketball team. He was so confident. Remember, he was like, I got this and I'm better than this kid. And he had that. And he got cut. He was one of the last 2 and he got cut. And I remember picking him up, and I was like it's the worst to see your kid break down and melt down. I could cry right now. But in my mind, I was like, this is good. This is reality. This is life. Right. And so he boo-hooed the whole car ride home, like literally boo-hooed. And we gave him a day to ball it out. And the next day we kind of said, okay, you have 2 choices. You can just give up and never play basketball again or boo-hoo for the next 6 months, or you can go march up to that coach and say, what can I do for the team? How do I stay involved? how do I show you that I want in this environment? And so he went and talked to the coach. The coach made him the manager. So he took all the stats. He practiced every day with that team and never got in any of the games, but he showed determination and he rose to the challenge. And literally he swallowed his ego to go sit in front of those boys knowing that he didn't make it. And the next year, 10th grade.
At the end of the season.
Oh, at the end of the season. That's right.
He calls me and says, "Can you bring my shoes?"
Yes.
Coach asked me to suit up.
So yeah, I forgot that. So at the end of the season, the coach said, "You're suiting up," and so he got into the last 2 games or last game.
Lit it up.
And lit it up, right? He did amazing. But then the 10th grade year, he tried out. Yep, he tried out for the team in his 10th grade year, and Kevin and I are like, "Oh my God, if he doesn't make it, we are literally going to murder this coach." Like that's how we're like, if this kid, because this is such a great lesson, right? And so he tried out in his 10th grade year and he made it. And so he started. He became a starter, which was really pretty awesome.
Yeah,
so,
Michael.
Yay, Michael. So that was a proud mom-dad moment for Michael. But again, I think a lot of us would have just hid in a corner and said, forget it, I'm not playing, I'm just going to be whiny about it. No, let's swallow our ego and let's go prove to the coach that we are in this to win this. So I hope that he continues to do things like that in his life. So, all right, with that said, we're going to transition and bring up our rock star newbies. Courtney.
Myself. I'm like, that sounds like a Rudy story. Have you ever seen that? She's like, I don't know that.
She's too young.
I know. She's like, I don't really know if I've seen that. I'm like, what?
Come on, Denise. Come on, Wendy. Courtney. You coming up?
Yeah, of course you are.
Yeah, come on. So I am going to move this back. You girls come here.
I'll go in.
What do I do? No.
I don't want to be.
Just sit. Shorty in the middle. Or no, middle. You're tall. You go in the middle.
Courtney.
Oh, hi. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I feel so.
We
Okay.
are decisive.
Yeah.
Are you all on camera? Sort of, kind of. Let's see. Yeah. Here, let's get you all on camera. Can you move this back, Jenna, just a little bit? Okay, let's get them on camera. We got them on camera here. Okay. So, all right, so we're gonna start. I just wrote out some questions, so make it easy. I mean, questions are easy. It's not like you have to.
Except for we don't know what the questions are.
They're very easy questions. I promise. So, why don't each of you just introduce yourself, and then what you did before real estate, and then how long you've been in the business. These are easy questions. You got this. All right.
I'm like, I can't even remember.
Denise.
Oh, I just started. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm Denise Alala. I've been in real estate since January, and I owned Pure Barre before, but my 20 years, I was a healthcare administrator.
Courtney, I've been in real estate since the end of February, and before this, I was managing Pure Barre and doing sales.
Yay.
I am Wendy. I'm on Tina's team. I joined her team actually in July 2020, so less than a year. I do have a real estate background, but it's the dark, yucky side of property management. I was in for 20 years. Corporate America, really, though. I travel all over the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love it. Well, welcome, ladies.
Thank
So
you.
just a quick little zip, like why did you decide to get into real estate? Like what pulled you into our wacky world?
I just start.
You have to start.
This is how
This
we're
is
doing
fun.
it.
We're going back and forth.
I'm like, give me a circle. I always knew I wanted to do real estate. I mean, down and dirty. I wanted to do real estate maybe in 2 years. But owned Pure Barre. During Pure Barre, COVID happened, and fortunately got cancer and was able to, during the time I was in treatment and everything, Courtney was my right and left hand at Pure Barre, and they made fun of me in the hospital because I would be hooked up and I would be taking this class that I thought was going to be easy. And then I called to Mackenzie, who is my sponsor, and I was like, I hate you. So I jumped in it mostly because of COVID, and then it just happened. I don't like to sit around. And so I was like, what can I do while I'm going to be hooked up to chemo? So got my license and I want a private plane.
We'll get to the private
Yeah, I want a
plane.
private plane.
She wants a private jet. She's my people. How about you, ma'am?
I have actually been somewhat in real estate for about 4 years that I was an unlicensed assistant. Knew that I wanted to eventually get into it for myself, but decided when school was virtual, why not go ahead and do it? I, like Denise, don't like to sit around. I like a challenge. So real estate, especially right now, is the perfect bet.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
And how about you?
So I've always loved real estate and known that that's what I've wanted to do since I was little. I can remember sitting in the back seat of the car with the paper books. That was the most exciting part about going to the grocery store, was getting the book to look at the houses. And then
That existed.
it was the
It was
book
actually paper magazine.
we didn't look online. And that is actually how I had the career that I did have, but it was safe. I was a single mom, and it provided a salary and health insurance, and wish I had known then what I know now, as to I could have had all those things too at that time, but it is what it is. And I actually got my license in 2010. So my daughter knew that that was always a goal of mine, was to leave and do residential real estate. She went off to college in 2017, and I didn't do anything about my goal that I had said I was going to do. And she actually went to a college that was out of state, which was very expensive, and she loved it. She joined a sorority, had a great first year. 2 weeks before she was supposed to go back, she said, I'm not going to go back. I'm going to transfer to NC State. And I was like, what? What are you doing? I still remember sitting in Chipotle, like, what are you doing? Like, what is this? And she said, I'm getting close to the age that you were when you had me, and I see how much you gave up. And I don't want you to give up anything else anymore. So I know. It was like, so that's literally my story. I know. And that's like, you just made me cry about my house. So
Well, no, but when I met Wendy, and she was interviewing for our team, and Pam and I were interviewing you, and I was like, I just love her, but she's like part-time. She has a full-time job. Like, I can't make her successful part-time. And it was really a block for me as a team leader. And then we, like, maybe 3 months or 4 months later, we transitioned to EXP. I'm like, we can do this. So I called Wendy right away. I'm like, I have a solution. You could do all your classes. You could do all your training. Remember that phone call?
I do. I was walking into my niece's, it was a Friday night basketball game, actually, that I was walking into my niece's basketball game, and you called me because it was a friend of my dad's that is also, he has an independent brokerage in the area, and he's known me since I was 15. And so he said, you have to do this part-time. So I trusted his opinion. So when I met with Tina, both her and Pam were like, how could we make this work full time? And I was very set, like, no, this is what he told me to do. I've got to test the waters part time. Yeah. And so I remember I was actually walking into my niece's basketball game on a Friday night that you called. And I remember it clear as day. And you're like, I found a way for you to work with us. And you said, the virtual opportunity with EXP.
Because she could learn everything we teach. She could come to our meetings when she could, or Zoom in, and then obviously learn remotely while you were traveling with your job. So
for a year and a half.
Yeah. And then so she did that year and a half. You did that with EXP, and she sold some houses. You actually brought over some agents. She was doing good.
Yeah, but not the same.
Not the same. And then one day she was like, I'm doing this. I'm full time, but I need to join your team because I needed that like blanket, that security blanket. And we'll talk about how you've been crushing it since then. But I love that story because, again, there's a kid that gave up so much for her mom okay, I'm going to keep going. All right. So when you joined real estate, what were your fears and what were you excited about?
My fear is not being successful, not selling a home, not really knowing where to start. And then that was the same excitement, like not knowing.
Mhm.
I love a challenge. I don't take no for an answer. I'm realizing I like problem child properties. Courtney and I do. They're like, you don't have, there's no floor there. We're like, we've got it. Like, we don't care. Like, we'll come out, we can find the builder, we'll build you a floor. And so, yeah. So just all that good stuff.
You were nervous-sided.
She was nervous-sided. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I like that word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, last week we said if you're really nervous, so maybe it's public speaking or doing your listening presentation, you're very nervous, but you're also excited, right? Because it's an exciting moment that you're doing something new. So you're nervous-sided.
I mean, my parents made fun of me. They're like, Denise, you've been doing sales since you were little, because I had a learning disability when I was younger. And so I remember going on interviews to get into college because my sister got her SAT score. She's 13 months older than me, and she got a whatever. And mine came in. I was like, where's the number in front? And they're like, this is yours. I'm like, but I wrote my name. I thought that was like 200 points. So when I went and interviewed at colleges, like even in front of whoever, I was selling myself like all growing up. And then I remember my sister was always the smart one and I was always the hardworking one. And my dad kept saying to me, he's like, I get up at 4 a.m. and I don't stop and I'll just keep going and going and going. So real estate, seeing Mackenzie, she's just like, it's always going. Like, I think this might be for me.
You're always going.
Yeah, always.
You got your wish.
Yes, I did.
I was most nervous about failure. I think like any new career, but then I was excited to prove to myself and prove to everybody else that I could do it and create something fun. So.
Financial fears for sure.
Mhm.
I had a certain amount of money and I didn't want to go back to that corporate job. And so the financial fear was the biggest fear.
Was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you were very excited about finally break. It was how many years? 20
years.
20 years in that corporate job, and they way underpay.
Way. No,
Way.
it's like you don't know you're abused until you're like out of the abuse
situation. Yeah. Jenna knows way underpaid. All right. So tell us real quick so you've been since January, right? That you got your license and got your post out of the way. So where are you guys at with your deals closed, under contract, everything in the pipeline today? So everyone knows what you're doing.
So we have 2 deals closed, and of course I scheduled them for the same day, which is great. I guess newbie mistake.
Rookie
Yeah, I
mistake.
was like, ooh, May 24th sounds familiar. I'll do another one.
Yeah.
So do 2 closed, 6 under contract, 3 listings coming soon, and 8 more agreements signed.
And I look at this as I remember when we were talking in the beginning and you were talking to Mackenzie, and the first 3 months are like a blur. You just are trying to figure out where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this business for you, so it's been 6 months, let's say, has been the last 90 days.
Yeah. I mean, I put my first deal in at, I think it was 3 a.m. in February. And like I've shared before, Mackenzie is my early morning. She's my sponsor. And Terry is my mentor, and she's late night. So I'm like, have the best of both worlds. But I was putting my first deal, it was February 5th, and I didn't get it. But I mean, that was the last like action I had. And then all of a sudden April came, or March, and it's been incredible. But again, I don't take no.
Yeah.
I mean, so Courtney, I was like, oh my gosh, we're partnering. And everybody's like, are you guys partners? And we are, not financially, but we do everything together. So we could bounce things off of each other, because I knew I did not want to join a team. I keep going back and forth. But if someone says, I mean, even a property I was talking about, I think it was with Mackenzie and Terry the other day, and even with William, they're like, no, not Mackenzie was it, but someone told me, no, you don't want this. There's contaminated soil. And I was like, says who? Why can't I find out? So we found out that it was a little spill, and everybody else was running from the property, and we didn't. And now they're getting exactly what they want. The soil was already tested. So we just don't say no, take no. We call the geologist. We do all that stuff. So
very resourceful.
we have
You
to
have
be.
to be, right?
Yeah.
You got to dig and get what you want, get
Yeah.
all the answers, and exhaust every option.
Yep, exactly.
And so do you work as a team? I know that.
Right.
So are your sales different? like, are you sharing those sales or are you guys different?
So we do a couple things. So all of the leads that are my leads are mine, hers are hers. And then if we do anything together, we have the Real House Brokers of North Carolina. And if we market together, those are 50-50 leads. So that's kind of what we're doing. So, I mean, I'll let you, because Courtney already has buyer contracts, agency agreements in place.
Yeah, because you came after her. You know?
Mhm. Yeah, I think I came.
End of February, right?
Yeah, end of February. So yeah, I think I have six buyers contracts currently. Some of them are a little challenging, but again, don't take no for an answer. Looking at all the options and all of those. So
And that's great activity for the first 6 months. I mean, it really is. It's about 90 to 120 days. So I'm proud of you guys. And that's why I have you up here, because I think people deserve recognition. It's a tough time. And the average agent sells 4 homes a year. That's a national statistic. So they're going to be just fine. And then we have Miss Wendy. And this is the cool thing about Wendy. So she joined our team, and we give leads on our team. And she's like, I want to learn how you learned. Like, I want to get on the phones. I want to call FSBOs, expireds. I want to do it like you. I was like, let's do this. So we started to do that training. And really her, she didn't even want to work with buyers. So we were like, here's some leads. I don't want them. So tell them your experience with how we started it.
Yeah, so I was like, I want to do exactly what Tina did, how she built her business. I'm going to listen to this, and it worked. So that's what I want to do. And so that's I started a group. Well, I joined a group that was actually some high level prospecting guys actually in the Northeast. And I was like, why are they letting me in on this group? I don't get it. I don't understand why they're letting me do this. But it really helped me a lot, just as far as developing a schedule and being consistent and seeing the importance of knowing the scripts.
And what were the rules to that group? Because it wasn't a group, it was like a accountability.
Yeah, it was accountability. And we would have different breakaways for like 30 days. It was like really strict rules that were very set times, or you had to pay money. And so there was accountability factors to it as well too.
She used to come out of the room like, I just need a breath.
It was
Because
like
her room didn't have a window.
Yeah.
It's full of
so-
urine.
Yeah, bottles full of urine.
Yeah.
She didn't leave the room.
It was but that's a lot of that was because I was so determined. Like, I remember you saying that when y'all came from Michigan, you had a certain amount of money, and this is what you had. You had these script books and you had the phone, and I was like, I don't need to recreate a wheel. Like, they already did this. I can go do the same thing. And so it did. It worked pretty quickly. I do have the advantages of being on the team. So I have one of the things that I've realized really kind of within the last couple of months that has been great for the business, which I think anyone, whether you're independent or not, is important when it comes to my leads, there's several different buckets. Like, I'm not just solely focused on the prospecting, or if I was an agent that was just solely focused on my sphere, I'm not just 100% about my sphere, but I have several different buckets where the leads are coming in. So when that fear of like, where's the next check coming from, I have been dipping in a bunch of different pools, and it's going to come from somewhere. I just know that it is. And so yes, I have a lot from my prospecting, but I've been surprised how much I've also got from my sphere. And the team leads as well have also played out nicely too. So Mackenzie's really good at keeping up with my numbers, because I put my head down and I just try to do my work. But I think I've closed in the 20s somewhere and have about 8 pending to close.
And mainly listings.
Yeah, it's
These are listings,
mainly
yeah.
listings.
Yeah.
And then I have like 5 listings that aren't even like out
That are
there
coming.
yet that are coming.
Yeah, so she just came into this market, which everyone says, FSBOs are dead, expireds are dead. Are they dead?
No.
They're not dead.
I
They're-
had one FSBO that has turned into 4 listings.
Mhm.
So from January till the end of this month, you'll have 28 closed, roughly.
I think so. Mackenzie's
Mackenzie?
really good at it. I
Yeah.
think so. It might be like, it's in the 20s.
It's in the
I think.
20s, yeah.
But some of
She's
mine.
tracking for 50 deals.
Some of
That's
new
her goal.
construction.
So you're
Yeah.
on pace for
It might be
50.
21.
Yeah.
Well, I think I might be a little bit behind, but I'll get there. I'll get to 50.
She'll get there.
Just say
Yeah.
yes.
It's amazing.
Yes, she is.
I'll get to 50. What I will tell you, the best part about the prospecting and sticking with a schedule that I've noticed, and Kevin had said this before too, is I think with my CSU, you see I don't have the ups and the downs. Like it's been pretty consistent since March, 4 to 5 every month. So I'm not going like 8 and then nothing, but it's been pretty level.
And you mentioned you noticed when you like took your foot off the gas. Sorry, first day of my
Yeah.
new lips. No, took your foot off the gas. They're actually not new. I
was just looking to see me.
They're not. But when you took your foot off the gas, you started to see that, right?
Yeah.
That come back, like,
Yeah.
and then you were like, oh my God, I got to get right back into it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had nothing, I think, in November. I think it was like maybe September or October. I was like really stressed.
Mhm.
And then I got real focused. And so December was 5. And that's when I really had that eye-opening moment that the schedule is what's so important.
And so when you're like on the phones, now here you are, brand new agent, you're on the phones, you're going to go meet with someone. What made you confident to go into those appointments? Like, did you feel that you were prepared for a certain, like, was it the scripts? Like, what made you more confident?
Definitely having a script
Mhm.
makes me more confident because I have something that I can go back to.
Mm-hmm.
I also was completely fine with, at the beginning, being okay with not getting it.
Mm-hmm.
That I saw every one of those listing appointments as like free training, because there's training costs us so much in this industry. And so every one that I went and sat in front of somebody, I saw it as free training, whether I got it or I didn't. So being relaxed and laid back and kind of having, I think that helped me too.
Mhm.
Not being so stressed about having to get it every single time, I think helped.
Yeah. And that's really where we get the most training, is it's embracing repetitious boredom.
Yeah,
It
just
is
doing
so
it.
boring to get in the room every day and start calling lead after lead after. It's boring.
Yeah.
You have to put music on. You have to get yourself excited.
Yeah.
Hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
So you're not leaving the room. But the success is there. So that's why I tell everyone there's no excuse really for anybody not to make it in this industry, because there's ways that you can.
Yeah.
And we just don't train that in this industry. It's a very undertrained industry. You're just left on your own, when you get your license, and no one's really there to push you, to help you, because it's a very competitive industry. So you're not going to walk into a brokerage and the top agent's going to go, come here, newbie, let me show you how it's done. Why would they? So it is different. So for you, now you're going on listing appointments, and I have to imagine, if I'm guessing, you're very different personality styles. You're probably more along I'm probably in between you both. You're very focused. I was in the middle of you. So you
she's a list. Like she
Yeah.
will be like, what do we need to do today?
Exactly.
And I'm like, and I just go like squirrel, like I go around.
So you don't have a schedule every day.
I do.
Calls?
I actually,
Okay.
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
I would call Mackenzie and say the F word. I'm like, oh God. She's like, just do it. So we started cold calling, and she would actually sit on my Peloton and I'd walk on the treadmill, and we'd both be sweating and we would laugh because we would get hung up on. But we have a schedule. We hold each other accountable. But when we go on listing appointments, I had the script, but I am not a scripted person. And so my husband finally sat down with me, and he's amazing in sales. He's like, it's all about relationships. He's like, you did care planning with Alzheimer's patients for 20 years. And then that's what I realized. It's not about selling homes for me. It's problem solving, and it's matchmaking. So a lot of agents, which I'm experiencing, because I'll call Mackenzie, I'm like, is this normal? She's like, there are some good and there's some bad. Because I'm like, if they call me and they say they want a 4-bedroom home, 3-bath, I'm not looking for a 4-bedroom home, 3-bath until I know their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because then I'm going to sit there and send them all the stuff. And I'm like, why are they not I love this. Why are they not loving it? And then I step back and I'm like, she's a cook. She's going to want a pantry. She want a gas stove. And then I start kind of like picturing them in a home. And then I call my contact now with insurance. Is there any claims? And I already have piecemealed their lifestyle. And the husband likes to mow the lawn. So what they tell me they want, and then what I hear they want are two different things. So it just becomes care planning again.
It's
And
using your intuition.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
I mean, going with that. Like I told Courtney, because when we first started, we were just sending kvCORE has been phenomenal, but we have the campaign drip, we have the alerts, we use the scripts, and we do all that. But when people aren't biting back, it's because we're sending them what we think they thought they wanted. But in reality, when you get to know them and really build that relationship, sometimes they don't even know what they want. I mean, I'm a client now. I want to sell my home, and I told her everything I wanted, and then all of a sudden she finds it for me, and I'm like, that's so awful. And I told Mackenzie, I'm like, I now love vintage farmhouses. I had no idea I want a circa home with no floor.
And no floor.
Yeah.
But that's the difference too. I think a lot of us go, scripts aren't me. And I was the same way.
I follow it in my head,
In
but
your head, right.
I can't. I sound scripted.
Yeah.
When I started practicing, and I would practice like Mackenzie's like role play. My poor husband would sit there and he's like, because I would teach him my Pure Barre classes in one breath, and then the next minute I'm like, okay, and he's just like, and I would call him on the phone, and he was like, will you put the script away? Because I knew it after a while, and then it was just more conversational. He's like, you're going like, how much money do you have in your bank, and you don't even know my last name,
right.
you know?
But
So
that's it. That the script really, because I'm the same way. Like it's not exact, but I'm picking up the meat of the why. Like why am I asking these questions? What's their motivation? Where am I trying to lead the client? And so you can naturally do that, but the script just kind of gives you something.
Well, I didn't
because
even.
not everyone is like you.
Well, your script, like there was one question that I was missing when I wasn't looking, that when you're talking to a buyer client, which I stupidly love more sometimes than listing. Like I said, I love the challenge. I love it. And I love winning. So when we get the deal, like, I mean, you would think I just won the Super Bowl. Like everyone, don't care if it's 100,000 or $1 million. I get so excited. But there was just one question: are you looking to sell your home? Are you? Because I would miss that. And then finally, I was like, oh my God, this is how you get listings. Like, my God, if they're buying, they probably live in a house, you know. And I was like missing that. And Mackenzie's like, go back to question 2. And I was like, oh my God. You know? And I was like, okay.
There's a purpose.
Yeah, I was like, wow. And then all of a sudden it kind of clicked. And now when we go on listing appointments together, our balance in personalities, because Courtney kind of keeps the squirrels out of you.
She keeps the squirrels.
She
away.
does.
Gets you back refocused.
Yeah.
And then she'll refocus me because sometimes I just go off on
Oh,
tangents.
she gets real excited about things. I'm like,
Yeah.
mm.
But can you see like the energy? Like, don't you want to hire them already? Because there's passion there. And I think a lot of times we as agents lose that. I mean, I right? Yeah. I mean, it's like you're not that excited. You're just like, okay, another deal. Let's go.
And that's why I wanted to work with her. I mean, I knew right from the beginning, I was like, Court, when you do this, we have to do it together. I mean, because Mackenzie is going to end up moving out of Lockmere because we can't be neighbors and we call her all the time. So I need someone I can bug. But everybody here, I mean, Ashley, I mean, everybody here that I've met, like, I don't feel like I said to Mackenzie, I never feel like I'm not
alone. Well, and that's another question. I would say, why did you, because you all interviewed different firms too. And you were I think you said, is this a good firm for a new agent?
Yes.
And I was like, it's, to me, if you can't make it here, you can't make it anywhere, because you literally have all these amazing people
at any time.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the very first experience I had, and I was sharing that I was interviewed, I was like, I'm joining this agency, you know, they're like saying all this stuff. And the very first experience I had, like, all right, 8 a.m., let's get on a call. And I get on this call and they right away put me in this small group, and now I'm role playing. And the guy knows I'm brand new. He's like, okay, Denise, let's role play. And I'm like, what? And he's like, well, go ahead. What would you say if you met me at your grocery store and I want you to buy my house? And I'm like, hi. Like, and he just like kept pressuring me. And I was like, this is not what I was looking for. And then I text Mackenzie, I was sitting at Totopo's, and she's like, what are you doing, you idiot? She's like, come here and meet with Tina. Yeah. So as soon as I met with, like, right away.
I didn't call her exactly.
No, yeah. She called me worse. She called me worse. No. Oh, yeah, that's
She
right.
would never say
This
that.
is tape. She never said that. But as soon as I met with the both of you, it was the freedom builders and having a sponsor, and my sponsor mattered, and then having a mentor, and then being able, when I saw Wendy, and Wendy was like, if you have any questions, Ashley, right away, you have any questions, right away, everybody. And then for you to comment on a messenger at like 11 o'clock at night, and then Kevin to like comment on a post I put in freedom builders, like someone answer her, help her. I mean, it's just been, so I feel like keep saying to Mackenzie, I feel like I'm already part of the team.
Yeah, it's one big
Yeah,
family.
no,
Yeah, I mean, but like I feel like I'm like, part
you're
of the
already
C.
part of it. Yeah,
It's not part of this.
part of the C. You're a call girl.
Just
I
not
love
the
it.
white. I have a white Jeep, just not the white.
That's right. That's
SUV.
right. All right. So last thing, we'll start with Wendy. What do you think your superpower is? And if you could just give anybody, any agent, new or seasoned, advice, because everybody has, good advice based on their experience. What would that be? So superpower and advice.
My superpower.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, please tell me then, please.
You're a closer.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, I was on an appointment with her, and I'm like you going. This seller kept bringing us
Make
drinks,
friends with
and
her.
I was like, "Let's have another. Where did you get this beer from?" And she's like, "So, she's looking at me, all mad at me because I was like, she's like, and so are you ready to get this homeless to basically stop blowing this for me?" So, and she got
I like
that.
to get the job done for sure.
Yeah. She's
Always be closing.
always
Yeah.
be closing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in a good, persistently what's the pleasantly persistent?
Pleasantly
Way.
persistent way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to
Very
get the job
professional.
done. And
Yeah.
there's a problem, solve it. So
What would you say to a new agent or a seasoned agent about their advice?
not to give up. Like I know that it is constantly changing, and I hear a lot of agents really kind of stressed with how crazy the market is right now, and just really not to give up and to learn from all of the defeats and keep going. It's
Awesome.
worth it.
Thank you. All right, Court, what's your superpower?
Her hair.
Yeah,
seriously.
Her and Ashley.
It's really hot here too with this humidity. My superpower, I guess, would just not giving up. And that's something I would also tell new or seasoned agents: don't give up, especially when it gets hard and it's a hard market. And to remember, I know sometimes it's difficult seeing everything on social media and everybody always looks like they're crushing it, but just remember that everybody is struggling. So don't let yourself get down, because I know it's really easy to when everybody else looks like they're killing it, but everybody has struggles. So just keep going.
It's so true. And what advice would you give? Just never give up.
Yep, never give
Yeah,
up.
I love it. There was real quick. There was a guy that talked to me, and he was like, "This girl, you got to follow her. She's amazing. She's got 100,000 followers." I'm like, "Who is this person in our market?" So of course I went and followed her, and she does. She has 100,000 followers and all these posts, and she's a realtor. And so I looked her up on Market View Broker, and she sold 3 houses last year. And I was like, "Okay, so that is a perfect example. It looks like someone is killing it." So we can't believe everything that we see.
Right.
She's killing it. She's killing it on Instagram, and I'm like, how is she monetizing this? Because it's great, right? The audience that you built, but it obviously isn't working for real estate. So your superpower.
Communication and going quick. I always make fun and joke around with Courtney. Call people. I mean, I see on Freedom Builder that people will say, "Is it $25,000 due diligence? Is it this?" My question always is, have you called the listing agent? Because I've closed deals or we've gone under contract not being the highest, having an FHA loan, because I'm calling the listing agent and I'm putting addendums together that I didn't know existed to present the simplest and cleanest plan. And I always think if I'm representing the buyer, I think what will make the seller want to close with us. So, and then for new agents, my philosophy, my grandma's always said this to me: if you want something, don't knock on the door, knock it down. So if you really want to, grandma, remember. But really, if someone really wants something, just don't keep knocking. Really bulldoze it over, and you'll get it.
Denise, you're also really good at making people feel special. I would say that's one of your superpowers. Yeah.
Well, I noticed, again, this generation, I was saying to Courtney, again, I feel so old. When you network, I can't get over how many people don't go around and introduce themselves. And so I said to Court, it's so nice. I'm like, you're 30. But when you go into a room, put your hand out and introduce yourself, because so many people then respond with text. I'm like, don't be the texter. Don't be the texter.
Right?
Get that landline.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you, ladies. You're all awesome. Let's give them a round of applause. Yeah, I thought it it was important because I think, anyone can look at a Marty Hampton or a Lisa or, all these great agents and go, oh, well, they're just so successful. But it's everywhere, right? There's a lot of these stories. In fact, there's another gal that I wanted to invite today, and she's brand new and she's like closed, I think, 10 deals in the last, 6 or 7 months. So that's really good because she's tracking to 20. So it can be done. Well, thank you. Is there any questions anyone has for these ladies while we're here? Yes. He has a question.
It's actually accountability.
Accountability.
They all have accountability. Wendy has accountability in her groups in the morning. These two are accountable to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So get some accountability. if
Lots of
you're really looking to
accountability.
Grow your business, right? And it can be anybody, but just make sure they're a good accountability partner that you're checking in with daily, right? It's a game changer. We had it when we started. We had role play partners at 7 a.m.
Mhm.
That for me. It's on the phones at 7. And then number 2, Denise, you nailed it when you said people don't necessarily know what they really want, right? Everybody, when you think of houses, and it's just because of the way houses are marketed. I want a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, right? A 1/4-acre lot in Cary. You go, oh, great, or in Lockmere. And then that's not really
What they
And you
want.
run around for days and hours, and then you get mad and frustrated at your client
Right.
when, in fact, if you get their lifestyle, you're like, you actually don't want that.
Well, no, we had a client that did the same thing. They told one of our agents they wanted this. They would never move out of this bubble. Nothing. And unfortunately, we stayed to that bubble. And another agent called them on a lead that they put in and found them a house in Wake Forest out of their bubble in Raleigh. And guess what they bought? The house with the agent in Wake Forest because that agent was thinking outside the box. So don't have a box.
And then the thing with scripts, I know my biggest thing with scripts is if you just realize you're having a conversation with people, right? The script is the outline of, and the lines in the script are great if you deliver them just like they're a regular conversation. People appreciate just conversations, right? And they do know when it is scripted. Make it your own, whatever it is, make it your own. Just make sure you're saying the same thing how you would say it.
More like a guide or a roadmap.
It's a roadmap.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's the questions that are, it's the who, what, when, where, and why. That's in every single script. Who's moving? Why are you moving? Where are you